IVM.
Going for parties is just so frustrating these days. I mean, your mom will make it a point to come and tell you how her friend's son has secured a house for her, and your wife will also find out that her sister's husband is taking her on a foreign holiday. While you're wondering why you're the only one who doesn't have a plan for the damn future. That's why I never sleep well during the festive time. Unless... www.hdfclife.com. Select. Done. You know what? I think I'll sleep rather well after all. Live calm. With HDFC Life, click to protect life. The Income Plus option offers life cover and steady income stream, so you're always ready for any expenses that life throws at you. Basically, this plan lets you plan your expenses like you plan your vacations. It's that simple. Visit hdfclife.com to know more and for terms and conditions. कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative. This lovely opening music that I hear, I don't know if you hear it, but it was dropped from the Gully Boys' final track. It was there and they dropped it at the last point for some reason. But we have a super guest coming on. Before we do that, I want to talk about a small controversy that's going on. Not the hijab controversy, because that I'll leave for Amit Doshi, because he screamed at me about it. In fact, he wants me to wear a hijab. The Statue of Equality that was unveiled in Hyderabad a few days back. Now, the CM KCR, of course, didn't want to endorse it. The TRS's party didn't want to endorse it. The PM endorsed it. So you have the PM coming in to a state where the BJP is not liked and not running. And this sort of thing happens where obviously one side is saying, Kyun aa gaya? Second side is saying, to hum to aa gaya. And my point is, this is lovely. This is democracy, the essence of it. I think it's fantastic that you do something and two sides are not on talking terms, but still everything functions. I think it's fabulous, like a good marriage, like me and my wife. It's the way we function. Sometimes things don't work out and, there's issues, but the ship still sails. So for me, this is a good sign. It's a healthy sign. It's a good sign for democracy. America learned from us. They've got too many issues back there. India is now going ahead in terms of democratic thought. Not according to Munawar and Kunal Kamra, who steadfastly remain in Dubai and Germany for now.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.
We've got a fabulous guest coming in, and this is a subject we need to do more of. I don't want to make it into a sexist thing and say ki only for men and this and that, because that's all rubbish. It doesn't exist anymore. But in the old days, they would say boys and machines, which is what we're talking about, is all about lad culture, male culture. That's a change, of course, in this PC correct world that we live in. So let's welcome Mr. Siddharth Chaturvedi. He's worth about 50,000 crores. He alone can prop up 4 to 7 countries in Southeast Asia. Self-made superstar, a lover of cars, one of those rare happy professionals who comes on our show, who loves what he does and makes money with doing that, which is just the greatest gift in the world. In the meantime, Siddharth, before I say hello to you, there might be some disturbances, and by that I mean domestic disturbances. My wife might suddenly appear there. Dekha? For no reason whatsoever. She's painting in the background because हमारे पास budget नहीं है. These professional painters charge too much. So I said, बहुत हो गया. Someone has to do it from the family. So she's doing it, and as you can see, it's a great job. Siddharth, let's welcome you to the show, which is called Cyrus Says. But if you sponsor our show, we can call it Siddharth Said. Up to you.
Good morning, Cyrus. Thanks for having us here. It's wonderful to be here.
Our pleasure, it's absolute pleasure. Lovely story. Where do we start? Actually, I wanted to start in the fact that before you began the business, first let's talk about the business, what it is exactly. So you guys basically sell luxury, top-end, high-end cars. Is this correct?
Yes. That's what we do. So we're into used luxury car segment. starting from 20 lakhs going to 4 crores.
Stop the
So
podcast. A lot of people are
that's
feeling
what we
pain.
that's what we
सुन के
cater to.
सुन के लोग सोचते हैं कि कॉम्प्लेक्स आ गया अभी 20 lakhs is the minimum, the base price of the cars, luxury cars. But you're going to tell us all about that because this is another world. This also involves image and I think money is the least of the issues in terms of the buyer in your market. So let's go back a little bit about the entire thing. And from what we gather, you yourself were quite the roadster, riding bikes and driving cars, etc. Can you go back a little bit before the business started?
So basically, I've been a car enthusiast or passionate biker since my childhood. That's where it all started. I was into
1 minute,
superbike
Siddharth.
racing.
That's against Indian law. I'll have to mark it down here. You're riding bikes in your childhood at the age of 9. Typical Gurgaon
No, no,
story.
no.
What the hell is going on, yaar? Huh.
I started driving when I was 15. Riding was not allowed at my place.
Was
So
he okay?
on the closed roads, I used to keep
15 is good,
practicing.
yaar. Huh, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today you have kids started driving at 12, 11. I've got a lot of videos
My
internationally
Uber
where
driver was 14 the other day. He told me मैं
see,
homework करके आएगा वापस because he had some files with him as well. Yeah, it's okay. If the government is listening, it's not our fault. These things happen. It's beyond our control. Sorry,
yeah,
sir.
so that's
So
why it was on closed roads under safe circumstances. I used to drive under supervision. Gradually, it started going into more powerful cars and bikes. So once you get a hang of it, it's I won't say addiction, but it is something that you run after. It's adrenaline rush, and we were blessed that we had good circuit coming in Greater Noida. So
right.
being in Delhi, we had the access to pursue our passions in a closed environment where it was safer as compared to Indian roads. So
Did you
that's
see
how
that
all it started.
F1? कब था?
No, I didn't.
2000.
I didn't. 2015, if
I,
I'm
I,
not wrong.
yeah, we went to cover it for some channel, and I have not experienced it live. You see it on obviously on TV and internet and all.
Same
It's
here.
one thing,
Same.
but boss, the noise they give us these things to put in your ears and all. I didn't take
Yes.
it seriously, bro. I thought
Yes.
it was 5 times what you get at the airport if you're near the plane or something. It was unbelievable the engine
Yes.
sound, yeah, amazing.
Absolutely. So that's how it started. And thankfully, we were blessed with the racing track near us where the environment was safe,
I
basically,
don't
as
know.
compared to Indian roads.
I,
So we used
I, I,
to,
that's a fantastic story. But I'm thinking back in Mumbai or Chennai, where I've seen these races go on and all, if they only had a proper racing track instead of the
yeah,
on our sea faces not going up and down unnecessarily, and you see tragic stories after that as well. So you are lucky. You're one of the rare people who has an actual racing track to race on. But let's go back again. What is the story with us men? And this is a generic thing of men worldwide. You can't say just men in Gurgaon or Bombay or whatever. Why are we so attached to the car and bike in a mad way? Because you know better than me now because you're dealing with these
so
customers who are just absolute, yeah.
it's the same thing as women are attached to diamonds, right? You find your passion once you experience these machines. It's something that you will it will keep catching up on you. It will not stop. It will grow. So because it's mad power under your control or under your right foot or right wrist, which you can use and enjoy the adrenaline rush. Basically, so once you get used to it, you want more of it every day. It's like an addiction to you.
But
So
here's the so Siddharth, यहाँ पे
plus
एक business model की जो I feel graph is very perfect because you never get satisfied. I mean, as a customer,
yes,
I
exactly. So that is why we have a lot of repetitive business. Yes, that is the main reason. So once you get into it, either you want to upgrade or you want more wheels with you. That's how it functions basically. It's a
wow. So
repetitive business.
it's a good version of alcoholism basically because
Yes,
you can't get out of it in a sense. And these are very well
absolutely,
educated, well heeled, well traveled, refined human beings. Many of them, I would say,
absolutely,
also.
Ab-
So it's just how
absolutely.
whether you're like a country bumpkin or you're this really Oxford educated guy or whatever. When it comes to cars, everybody's the same. They just that
Absolutely.
machine takes over the image, and there's no end to it.
Absolutely. Everyone has a different, segment of liking or passion. Few who would have a lot of money would want to go into, pure luxury like a Rolls Royce. Someone who wants to experience more fun would go for a sports car.
Come on,
This
take
is
us.
this.
Now that you mentioned it, take us to the some of the cars that sell from Rolls Royce downwards and give me a little pricing. I just want to see how the people react to that. Yeah.
So basically, a Rolls Royce Ghost, which is the starting model,
Hmm.
because now we have cars which are even 10 years old, 15 years old in the
Any
country.
famous
So a
owner?
Rolls Royce Ghost, a lot of people have it. So Priyanka Chopra sold her Rolls Royce Ghost last year. So we
Hmm.
purchased it and gave it to one of our clients in Bombay. So that is one of the cars that was picked
And the
from.
client thought that Priyanka Chopra comes with the car and unnecessarily is now calling every day. Huh.
So that happened when there's a story in the market that when the Mr. Bachchan's Phantom was sold off. So the client wanted the keys to be handed over from Mr. Bachchan himself. So he sold
Wow.
off his Phantom 3 years back, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. A Rolls Royce Ghost 2010-11 model, which is 10 years old, would be starting somewhere between 1.5 to 1.8 crores today.
Oh,
So, and a 2015-16 model, which would be 3-4 years old, would be around 4 crores today.
my
So
God.
that's the present. A new one would bill you 7 crores plus.
So one second. Top of the line will be 7 crores fresh.
Top of the line Ghost, Rolls Royce
Ghost.
Ghost, which is the starting model. The top
So
of
you're
the
going
line Rolls Royce Phantom would be 18 crores today in the country. 16, 18, 15 crores, depending upon the loadings on the car.
नाम तो दे दो कम से कम. Who's got this 18 crore
Phantom.
car?
So there are a lot of cars which have come out in the country. One has gone to some Supari manufacturers in Delhi who have picked up the most expensive Phantom worth 18 crores. So a lot of Phantoms in the country.
The
Rolls Royce Ghost
children
is the
listening to
common
the
car.
show, if you want to buy a Rolls Royce, you need to get into the Supari
Sad.
business and not the Mumbai Supari, matlab, the actual Supari business, somewhere a factory in the north. Wow, man,
Not, yeah.
18 crores on a car. I mean,
Yes.
these customers are living in another world. You think India, Garib Desh hai and all that's all gone out of the window. I mean, it's ridiculous. 18 crores,
So,
which means his second car will be what? When you reach that level,
so if you want to know the full story, the second car, that guy bought two cars together on one day. The first one was a 18 crore Rolls Royce Phantom. The other one was 7 crores Ferrari 812 GTS. So that was 25 crores of cars purchased in a single day. So there are a lot of people who are splurging a lot of money on cars these days.
but the same guy, when he goes to buy Pyas in the market, he fights. क्या 19 रुपए हो गया कब से he goes berserk. Yeah, amazing. But this is again, this is a, I don't know, do you equate it with power or something? I mean, it's not necessarily arrogant. If the guy is worth 10,000 crores, his expenditure on the car is the same as say mine. You know, that 2% of your
Absolutely.
income or whatever. I think there's some graph worldwide which they talk about. Ki you spend so much on your vehicles from what you earn. So I'm saying we have to put it in perspective, whoever these guys are. Let's talk a little bit about these. I have a Honda, okay, and I have a Jeep. And when driving outside Mumbai on towards Alibag and the Kacha roads and all, my Honda really suffers. Okay, it's not built for that. So if you don't have an SUV, you really suffer. My point is, some of these classy cars that you have, how will they survive? Mumbai is horrible, and you cannot deny it. Horrible roads from north to south of Mumbai. Delhi is a little better, but as you go outskirts of Delhi, I mean, as bad. And lots of the other B towns and C towns of India, there are also Kacha roads, and you've got phantoms and these kind of cars. How do they
So
cope?
the luxury segment will survive these roads because they are meant to tackle all the potholes and provide unmatched luxury in the car, even despite of the road conditions. The problem comes in when you are on the sports cars, which have absolutely zero ground clearance. So these are the cars which suffer. But thankfully, the companies understand that now they're selling cars in India, and they started providing lift suspension on the front. So at least the potholes can be managed if you're on slow speeds. But yes, it's a pain. It's a pain because you don't know what pothole you're going to face next on the highways. Maybe
But
on
the
your
client,
city roads, you're used to it.
but the client who in any case can't drive the car fast in our cities. But the client will also be told that I mean, this is not the best car for roads, so you'll have to find a racing track or
See,
जहाँ पे highway
anyone
है,
who's buying
freeway
a
है.
4 crore car or 5 crore car won't listen to anything you or anyone else or me
They should buy
advise
the
them.
road with it. Let them buy the road also.
So that's why they are around ceilings. Na? In Bombay, every Sunday morning is a drive day at Sea Link and the
Correct.
Worli Sea Face because that's the only roads where you can drive actually in Mumbai.
And that's
So
been
so
and it actually got worse. See, I've grown up in Mumbai from say 70s to now. The roads have actually got worse because of all the reconstruction and digging. There's a theory, Siddharth,
yes.
unrelated to cars, which is that the best way to make money in India is to start digging. Once you dig, money comes in because there doesn't have to be a purpose to the digging. Current kya hai, wo to pata nahi. Just keep digging, keep digging, keep digging. I'm just telling you this in case you want to change businesses. Even more money in digging. Can bury the cars there, some of them. Let's go to the beginning now of the entire journey, the story of Siddharth Chaturvedi. You were doing what? How did you get into cars, and how did you go into the luxury segment? How did this all come into place?
So I myself used to buy a lot of cars, keep changing them because I was into cars. I had no other
On a
way of spending
personal
for
level.
that on a personal level. So when I used to buy, the cost used to be X, but the car used to be the most demanded car because I am buying it, so it became the most demanded car. And when I had to sell it or exchange it, the price used to rocket down. That now there's no requirement for this car. That is just the way the dealerships work function in India. If you want to sell, there's no requirement for it. If you want to buy, that's the most required thing. So which used to lead to
Superb.
lot of
Yeah.
lot of depreciation losses on buying and selling and changing cars. and that used to be big amount, like 25, 30, 35% on a car. And that is an unorganized sector that we have in the country. That today, the new cars have started giving a buyback warranty on your car. That after BMW 5 Series D, 4 saal baad, you get this amount of money back, right? So that is what
Guarantee.
was required. Yes, the guarantee or the warranty on buyback, that this is the assured price that you'll get after a certain period. So this is what I thought, that there was a space where we could use, to build a market where it is organized. That today, if you buy a used car, you know what price you'll get after 1 year of using it. And in India, in which ways used car market is very unorganized. The Bombay culture generally is that there are a lot of people who buy and sell cars as used cars who just do it from their homes. There is no organized showrooms or system. And if I don't know the person directly, I can't trust him that tomorrow he would be sitting at that same place selling his cars or not. So to make it an organized setup was a space that we thought we could use pan India. There are hardly any brands which are functioning pan India. So we thought we'll come out pan India and we'll start making customers believe that the cars are as good as new at a very less price, and they have the guarantee that after a year, certain amount of price is assured from us. They can come and just return the car or buy something else. So just trying to make this market a little organized. That
So it's
is
a
all
depreciating
the
asset at the end of the day. Even from a
yes.
business point of
Apart
view,
from
you
few
know,
cars, so
huh,
there are few supercars still which are appreciating assets. But apart
how would
from
they
that,
appreciate with age?
so basically, yes, with age, because now the engines are getting smaller, the cars are downsizing, electric cars are coming in, turbos are being installed. So the raw power which a straight line engine has is going to be something which will not be in the future. So in future, you will not have naturally aspirated engines. When I say naturally aspirated, it's a technical term. It is basically an engine which has no turbos in it. It's the engine pumping out the power, not the turbos. So a car like a Ferrari 458 Italia, which used to be the Ferrari's flagship model between 2010 to 16, 17, 12 to 16, 17, today has become an appreciating asset because Ferrari is not producing any more V8s in the new lineup.
Wow, what a great business idea! So we have to get the company to close down or stop producing, and it actually goes
The
up then.
engines, yes,
The
yes,
engines, yeah.
internationally it does. In India, the trend is starting now. The people who bought the 458 3 4 years back are selling it for same price after 4 years.
Siddharth, see, this is a Jugaad podcast. It's all about how to beat the system. I'm sorry to include you in this, but you've given a great piece of advice. People listening are taking it down. This is very good. Because generally, always think once you buy a car, general belief, Janta always thinks ki you bought it and now you have to hang on to it because you're not going to get any money out of it. So you get non-tangible rewards out of, 7, 10 years of
With
kichawing it.
the regular cars, yes. With the regular cars, yes. That is the story. That is the story, absolutely. But exclusive cars, which are limited and not being produced, are appreciating.
But here's what I don't understand. If they have the money to buy the 18 crore top of the line Rolls Royce, etc., that's the same guy who comes in for the slightly used car because that's also so expensive. It's not like जिनके पास 15
Yes.
करोड़ है उनके पास 20 crore भी है. It's I mean same segment.
बट अगर आपको वही 15 करोड़ में सेम चीज मिल रही है जो आपकी 20 करोड़ वाली 3 4 6 महीने बाद हो जानी है. So it's just they should be open to understanding. That's about a lot of clients we have. By well, maybe they would have one brand new flagship car, but other cars, second, third, fourth cars would be used cars because they're more practical and more value for money.
So the more practical car is the ghost. And the top of the line one
Yeah,
is the.
for someone having a phantom, yes. For
How do
someone,
we sell this to Janta, to Aam Aadmi? I mean, this is really mean. Oh, uska wo
so
garib wala gaadi hai. Wow,
So, for
that's
example,
fantastic.
so we have a client in Hyderabad who has a Rolls Royce, who just picked up a brand new Rolls Royce Ghost. He was getting married, so he picked up a new Ghost because he couldn't roam around everywhere in supercars. And all the other supercars that he has are used cars. If he has a Lamborghini in his garage, a Ferrari, they're all used because hardly these cars get used. These are weekend cars, or
Correct.
thrice or four times in a month they want to get out. And instead of spending double the amount, if you get the same car at half the price and almost as fresh as new, why not?
Bro, and no one can tell when we see a Lambo on the road or whatever, we can't tell ki first hand, second hand, third hand. It looks like a Lambo. It's a classy
Lambo
piece of
2000,
machinery.
2008 still is as attractive as anything today. So that's 12 years later in the market still as
So how
fresh.
much will that go for? 2008 model, if one was to buy it?
2008 Lambo should be around 70 lakhs, 75 lakhs today.
I'll work hard. That's my target now. That's a fabulous car. So, what about you personally? What cars do you have? I mean, you're like the
Uh,
business itself. People watching you, seeing you.
so I right now I have a Ferrari 488 GTB. Yeah, that's the one I'm using. And the bikes I have a V4R, which is a limited edition bike, three bikes in the country. Yeah,
Wow, what are you saying? Who are the other two?
they're all bike enthusiasts who are into racing. These are track specific bikes.
Okay, this is not
So
for roads. This is only on the track.
you can, but a super sports bike on the roads you can't ride them. It's too risky. It's too risky to ride them on the roads.
But Siddharth, one more
So
big problem is there. It sounds funny, but it's really true. I had a friend who had this Valkyrie bike back in the day, one fancy bike for us that time. And his problem was that when he went to the office, he just got a job in Nariman Point. He would look out of the window all the time to see that no one's touching the bike. Huh? And now with
true,
the
true,
cell phone age, people come and taking. I don't know if you noticed this. You have a Lambo on the road, you park it, they'll all come and take pictures in front of it, etc., touch it,
absolutely,
etc. So half the at least
absolutely.
in Mumbai, I don't know about Delhi, but in Mumbai for sure, you're going to be tense about leaving your car anyway. If it's and these are cars you don't want chauffeur driven. These are all owner driven cars, right?
Yeah.
By and large. So how do we deal with that?
It's a part of it. It comes with the car. You have to deal with it. Be it we parked on the road on a red light. That is what it comes with. So you have to deal with it. There is no way out of it. There is no way out of it.
All right. Let's go a little bit into the you self. This is a question, a slightly businessy question, but I think we need to ask it. Each car that comes in, do you personally self check it and self drive it and all that? Because if I'm spending 15 crores on a 2-year-old car, I mean, I'm expecting it to be completely 100%.
So even a 20 lakh car that you buy from us, we don't drive and check it because in driving you can miss a lot of things. We're not. I'm not a technician, right? I have a team who looks after all this stuff. But when we buy a car, we do a thorough service check, all the background checks, like the service done on the car, the mileage on the car, the accidents on the car, if any. We check all that through proper, scrutiny through companies and everything, through insurance claims. Then you buy the car. So driving is the last aspect of the car. Before that, what we do is the thorough research on the history of the car, because that is what.
But Siddharth, if I buy the car, then I take it off. 2-3 months ke baad, I find something here and there, chota mota thing, nothing
So
big.
so we are there
You
to
go.
take care of it. Yes, for the first 6 months, we take care of it.
Okay, that's great because in 6 months, I think you'll know where you stand. You can't go on forever. It's fair enough. Actually, you brought up the electric car. Now, this is a big point here because I don't know whether it kills business or not. People are discussing this. We had gone to Amsterdam before the COVID hit us, 2020 early part, and they've really pushed it, the whole electric car and cycling and all this. In Europe, they're pushing it because government is providing these chargers everywhere, etc. But in India, first question, will it work? Because it's too big a country, we'll have to have the options of charging. And secondly, what happens to the car market? Because will it
So the car
kill
market
all
is
these brands?
no, it's going to remain the same because all the manufacturers will get into electric cars. So right now, the petrol cars get sold and repurchased. Similarly, electric cars would do the same. It doesn't make a difference. You want to buy used
Oh, but
electric
the
cars as well.
inventory you already have. All these cars we're talking about 2008 ki Lambo,
No,
2010 ka
we
Phantom.
are so anyone who wants to buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Phantom is not going
They don't
electric
care
here.
about,
So
yeah.
yeah, so today semi-hybrid, not electric completely, but electric plus petrol Ferrari builds around 9.5 crores. So I'm sure very few people are spending that much money on the car. So people
So
are
will
fine buying 3 crores, 4 crores used Ferraris, right?
so you're saying
So
it'll be like the business will not really change. We will include electric culture and you
Not
will
in the
always have.
recent future. Yes. So in the supercars and everything, petrol engines would still be there. They're gonna adapt hybrid, but they're gonna remain petrol engines because when you go electric, there is no fun to driving. So electricity kills the fun. So there's no sound, there's no emotions behind the car. So
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 bike will be a dead culture, yeah. If it's a silent bike, what will happen
Yes,
there?
yes. So that's what the point is. Anyone who's into cars and bikes enthusiasts, they don't like electric cars. That's one. But yes, the way forward is electric for daily use at least. But as a country, we are still at least 5 years away from it. Yes, electric cars will start increasing in numbers, but electric cars to be on the road that you have at least 50% plus electric cars on the road is at least 5 6 years away with the
Yeah,
infrastructure
but
that we have in the country.
so boys in the machines will not get affected because basically Aam Aadmi will turn his hands to electric cars, but the your
Yes,
market is the people who love vehicles, and so
and
their
we're going
whole
to
idea
provide
is
electric machines also. So it's not that we'll not sell electric cars, we'll sell electric cars also.
electric cars at a premium as well. But
Yes.
you think like a Rolls Royce could ever come out with electric Rolls Royce? I mean, that would be like ridiculous, right?
For someone, okay, Rolls Royce would do that faster than a Lambo or a Ferrari. Why? Because the Rolls Royce right now as well are absolutely silent cars. So inside the cabin, there is no noise in a Rolls Royce. There is no emotion of driving in a Rolls Royce. It's the craftsmanship, it's the interiors, it's the luxury that they provide. So that's going to remain the same. What's below
Siddharth,
the hood is going to change electric.
how will we know?
So
You'll have to let us drive one Rolls Royce, na, ek bar at least, come se come. Then only
you're
I'll be
more
able
than
to.
like
I cannot understand what you're saying. You're saying silent, yeah, ye hai, wo interiors ki baat hai. But hello, brother, give us a round at least. Hey,
you'll have to
why do you
tell.
try this? Great idea, Siddharth. Why did you allow people to come and just drive the car for a day rate? In the area, they can't take it anywhere else. Just to drive it, get a feel of it.
After
Charge them
that,
10
that
grand.
Rolls Royce will never sell. After
One
that Rolls
round.
Royce will never
That's
sell.
20,000, one round. Just imagine non-stop market for you on the spot.
Yeah, we get a lot
Okay.
of queries for that, the rental cars every day. That we not need this car for one day. It's my birthday. So we get a lot of queries like that.
That's pretty cool. An emotional message to get you to give the car. Let's go back now. Which was the first car you sold? Do you remember the early days, the struggle, the initial struggle, if there was one?
So I'm not exactly. I do not sell cars personally. So, but yes, I've had few transactions with Mr. Anis Bazmi or Mr. Kundra for that matters. So selling to them was not difficult. They're very sorted people. If they like the product, then that's the chapter is closed there. They don't bargain or bother you with anything. They're fine. They just want the product to be delivered at their place, and it should be absolutely perfect so that they have no hassles. So as such, I am not into selling myself. I just manage things around. My brother takes care of all the sales and everything. So that's how we have divided the work and function.
But you mentioned celebrity names just now. Now, Ani's a filmmaker, for example. Raj is also a filmmaker off the record, but we won't get into that. So, would they personally, it will be a personal thing, or somebody's come from their team to buy it? Because I'm thinking this is a very personal sort of
It's
relationship.
a personal thing. It's a personal thing. It's absolutely personal. Everyone is buying into these cars who wants to drive them, who wants to experience them. So without driving them, without checking it, I'm sure nobody is buying a car asking their drivers or managers to go and check the car and pick it up for them. So it's a
Uh,
very personal thing. Yeah.
do you have any celebrity stories? Any famous people who've come and taken it? Really, something funny that happened?
Not really. Whether we have passed that chapter with the celebrities at least, it becomes funny or something that yeah. But as I mentioned, all the
I'm
people
thinking,
that we have.
what if Raj Kundra came in a Maruti 800, but he bought a Phantom? I'm just thinking the car they drove to the showroom would be quite funny. Comes in one, goes in the other. But obviously, when you're spending 10 crores and all, there's no question of humor. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
As you said, you give a 6 month sort of guarantee, sort of
Warranty,
where
yes,
they
yes.
can double check, triple
6 months
check,
guarantee and 1 year assured buyback. So any car that you
one
buy
year short
from
buyback.
us, you can sell it back to us after a year at a certain fixed price at the time of purchase.
So vaguely, I know it depends on model to model and all that. Vaguely, what
No,
20%?
it's fixed. It's fixed 25%.
So if I have paid 10 crores, I will get 7.5
Yes.
in 1 year. That's not too bad, yeah. Still doing very well. Are there any dream cars that you have that you want to sell that you haven't been able to sell or haven't been able to
So
get?
I would want to buy a SVJ Roadster in our country. Selling every car, so any car that gives us money, I'm happy. That's my dream car. Basically, the more money we make, that's more bigger dream that we have, so that we can expand and grow. That's about selling. So any car that gives us good money is a good car for us to sell.
Going back to bikes as well, what are the cheaper ones that you liked growing up and all that? Did you ever, I mean, like normal, no, I won't say normal people, but regular people had the Yamaha. We had the Yamaha 100, it was very big in the
So,
90s, I remember.
unfortunately, in my family, I was not allowed to ride two wheelers. I was always told not to do that. So, all I had to do was I, and so I learned, I tried biking later, and I was driving car before because you're not allowed at home. So, I would have been 2021 when I first got my hands on a bike. So, and that was after Doom came out in the market. So, all the, as boys and kids, we were mad after super bikes. So that's how I experimented. The first bike I bought was a ZX Kawasaki 600. I don't remember the exact model. That's the first bike that I started trying my hand on.
I'm sorry, Siddharth, you failed the question because you have not
Yeah,
driven
I
the
did.
100cc.
No, but
You have not,
I no, I
98
haven't.
cc bikes. Uh,
I haven't.
that's
I
a,
was not allowed at home.
it's another feeling altogether. Cheapest car you
Yes, I.
drove, even a friend's
But
car, kabhi kabhi.
no, so I can drive any car. I in my inventory I have a Corolla 2006. I drive that as well at times. I have driven a Maruti Zen since the entire my college days. So cars, any car. End of the day, cars are mode of transport from point one to point B, right? At times
Yeah,
you
fair
like
enough.
being fancy.
So for people
At
listening,
times you like being fancy.
you also lived a normal life. The Maruti Zen. Now these are
I
brands.
still live. I
You know,
still live
people
a normal life.
people in the chat are saying, "Wow, thank God, Maruti Zen finally after Phantom and
So my
Phantom and
daily
all this
commute in Mumbai is a Honda Accord, older
is on."
generation, the Bulldog. Is a Honda Accord, 2009-10
Oh, the
model.
old, but which is not manufactured now. I think
Yes,
the
yes,
Accord. You
yes.
don't get it
So I'm
anymore.
hoping it will appreciate someday. That's why I'm not selling it.
Why we sold ours? Arey Baba, why didn't you tell me all this, yaar? We had a standard Herald. I don't know if you remember this car. Back in the 70s when I was a young boy, there
Yeah.
was a
So
standard Herald.
today they would be far more expensive than what you would have bought it then or
Damn
sold then.
it! Damn it! We should have returned
The
the driver
classic
and kept the
culture
car.
is growing in our country, especially in Mumbai. The classic car
So,
culture is growing.
so what exactly is the vintage point? Yeah, when do we know that the car is going to be like, even though it looks like rubbish, is going to be like expensive?
Anything pre-90s is for sure expensive now. Even before 2000, the older generation Mercedes and everything are decently
Okay,
expensive now.
which would go for how much? About a few years back, if we had bought it in time,
So
10 lakhs.
maybe if I'll start with the 60s era, the Mustang 69 or 71 is sold expensive than a Mustang 2020 today.
Wow, what are you saying?
Yeah,
Oof. That's like saying your grandfather is more expensive than you. That's what it means, ultimately. Fair
yeah,
enough.
yes, yes.
Shovik has sent a comment saying he drives only Maisto cars. Just for you. Maisto, Maisto cars. You only have money for
Okay.
that. All right. Don't worry, Siddharth. Out of this group of people listening, somebody is going to spend money and buy that Ferrari, the one that you have. Also got
I'm sure.
Aisha must be wondering why Cyrus is asking all these questions about prices. Kareedna to hai, nahi? No, my wife wants the Ferrari. Yaar. I think I may have to do some auditions in Mud Island in the coming future. Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, Celery will join us in lots of AMAs. All the car crazy and bike crazy people. Anything you want to ask Siddharth, this is the time to ask him. We're taking a quick break, and we'll be back while I park my scooter.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun speaks with Anish Bastine, co-founder of Swami Drinks. They discuss the company's genesis and what it's like building a non-traditional premium product like tonic in the Indian market. This week on Cock and Bull, Cyrus Says and I talk about Spotify's issues with Neil Young and other artists in wake of the controversy with Joe Rogan. On The Wire Talks, Siddharth talks to journalist and author Amitav Kumar about his novel on fake news, A Time Outside This Time. The Pulyabazi hosts discuss what the government spends on the most in their series Ek Sawal Kahin Jawab. And on Smarter with Sid, Siddharth introduces us to the Pomodoro time management technique. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, please do tell a friend. It really does help us when you spread the word about our podcast. And I'd also like to ask you if you could rate or recommend wherever you listen to our podcast. And speaking of where you listen to this show, if you're on an Android phone, do check out our new Android app. We have a brand new app with a brand new listening experience. Definitely check it out. I think you will enjoy it. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber. Thank you so much for making this possible.
All right, we're back after that lovely break. And I call this segment, Siddharth, please join us. Do not go anywhere, bhai, please. Silvery is with us. I call this segment after the break the Pati Parmeshwar segment because I keep my wife here so that everything is taken care of. Chai, please. Dekha? Sid is worried. Better not to interfere in domestic disputes. He's dealing with cars. That's bad enough. Okay. All right. Those are
Yeah.
my wife's paintings in the background, which we have to sell, ladies and gentlemen, so that I can go to use my good influences now with Siddharth and try and get myself. I don't think Phantom is a little out of the league, but we'll see. 70 lakhs, you said, no? For
Yeah, that's for a Lambo.
a
Gallardo.
Lambo 2008. Aisha,
Yeah.
2008? Lambo? Lambo is Lambo. You want an I-10? Acha, acha. Then this is a wrong professional. It's called Boys and Machines, not Women
Yeah.
and Machines. So that's a different story altogether.
So,
Go ahead, sir.
I want to ask Siddharth, in movies, right? Very often you'll see older men buying like these cars for their mistresses. Okay. Do you think that happens in real life? I think that's a thing.
Yes,
Ooh.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
What do you
We have had
say, man?
cases
That's
where it's
hilarious.
happened the other way around. Older
What?
women buying cars for their younger boyfriends as well. So
Oh, wow.
we have had
Oh.
Dekha?
all kind of cases.
Umid
Okay, that's
hai.
aspirational.
Umid
Yeah,
hai,
that's
Silvery
aspirational.
bhai.
had all kinds of
Actually,
cases.
he's saying that a lot of older women purchase these fancy cars for young men that they are dating. So it's she still wants an I-10, not a young man. That's it.
Okay. How many rich fathers do you think buy it for their children? Like for the children to take
Uh,
out into the
in
world?
in north part of the country, a lot of them. But yeah, we had cases in Mumbai as well. Couple of them gifting their cars.
Cases in Mumbai. It sounds like
Yeah, so it's a
like
case only
something
that
wrong.
you're gifting a very powerful car to a kid who has just come out
Yeah,
of the school,
that's true. That's true.
and that
Yeah.
these cars need to be handled responsibly, and
Yeah.
kids who
I
just
have a
learn
friend.
driving.
I have a friend who
Achha,
stays in Powai, and his father bought him for his 18th birthday. Bought him a convertible a BMW. And
okay, guys, there's a
man,
distraction on the show. Tarun Kaushik was a young man. After the information is provided by our guest, saying he's saying that lots of elder women are targeting young boys. So Tarun Kaushik is begging, ki, where are these women? Siddharth, can you please come se kam ek address de do, and then he'll take it
yeah,
forward from there.
Friday night at the clubs, if the lockdown
yeah,
is
the
over,
clubs. Yeah, man.
that's the
Right?
place you need to
Yeah.
find them.
But which club? There must be one or two which are potential is better. Young Tarun is a hardworking man. This is a good
He
future
needs
for him.
to, I have not done this scouting yet, but yeah, I'm sure he'll find one. He just needs to keep working hard without losing hope.
Yeah. Siddharth's job is different. He sells the cars. To sell anything else, I think Silver, you'll have to play that role, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
cool. So we hit the
Uh,
AMAs anyway. They seem to
Also,
have
one more
started.
thing is
Yeah.
can people rent out these cars if they want to, like,
I
say
asked
for
him.
an event or something? Okay, you ask them
A
again.
lot of people have started
No,
doing
right?
that in the country.
Okay.
As Boysen machines, we just sell and buy and sell. We don't rent
Also,
it out. But yes, a lot of people do it.
and Siddharth, उसमें अगर deposit की बात है, तो how do you even rate that deposit? Because I'm saying, if you, like you said, 7 day की शादी, and I mean it's an 15 crore car, supposing. I mean,
So
what deposit do you do?
our standard reply to that is you buy the car, give it back at 25% less after 7 days or 7 months till 1 year. You can give the car back to us. It's up to you. So
For
that's
7
how
days, I
we
spent
counter
2.5
sell it.
crores.
Yeah, if it's a 10 crore car, yes, it's still cheaper.
And then they
So a
might as well
10
keep it
crore
for a year.
car,
Yeah.
if you rent a 10 crore car somewhere even in Dubai, you'll end up paying almost like 5 lakh rupees a day or 4 lakh rupees a day. So it's still
Okay.
cheaper, right?
Okay, have you ever had this incident happen to you? This is a Mumbai story. It cannot be. I doubt it will happen in Gurgaon or Delhi. Has anyone returned the car saying parking nahi hai?
No, we have not had that case, but yes, we have had cases where we would be selling the same car at same price point, a bigger car, and the person would say, "नहीं छोटी गाड़ी चाहिए, parking नहीं है." That happens very much in Mumbai. Or maybe
Yeah.
कि गाड़ी की
Headlight
delivery
निकालो.
नहीं चाहिए, पुरानी गाड़ी
Yeah.
बिक जाएगी, जब चली जाएगी तब लूंगा because parking नहीं है. So parking in
Wow.
Mumbai is a problem. Yeah.
It's a very logistical issue. I accept it totally when somebody talks like that. हाँ Silvi, bolo.
I felt for a while that one of the best, like, these luxury but slightly more affordable cars to buy in Bombay would be the BMW 1 Series, because it's a BM but also a hatchback. So that's kind of where I would say.
But that's too low a model for him.
No. That's not the case. It's a BMW end of the day. But the point is, a new BMW 1 Series still would be billing around 40 lakhs when it was coming, 38, 35 lakhs
Yeah, that's
on
true.
road. In 35, 38 lakhs, you might get a E-Class as well, which would be hardly used. So why not to pick
Yeah.
that?
They're both
Okay.
German, beta. They're both German. But I think Ruben
They were
David had
German.
a comment. Unfortunately, you took it off very quickly. Let's just put it back. While you all were talking, there's a nice comment from Ruben David. Check this out, Siddharth. In Hyderabad, there's a cafe called Driven Cafe where you can check out or rent for a day or feed for a few days.
Yes,
high-end
a lot
cars
of
bikes.
people. Yes, a lot of people are doing that
Huh.
in Goa, in Hyderabad. In Hyderabad, at the airport, there's a company which started, though its shut its business down, where they were giving out Lambos and Mustangs for rent for a day on the airport, like you have it internationally.
So
Wow.
when I go to Hyderabad, I can get the Mustang and make my mother-in-law pay. I mean, there must be something in that, in our culture, which allows that.
The Hyderabad
You know.
company has shut off. The Goa people are still doing it. So at
गोवा में मेरा
50K
कोई
a day,
परिवार नहीं है. परिवार नहीं है.
50K a day, you can rent a Mustang in Goa, I believe, if I'm not wrong.
Damn it, Hyderabad! I
but-
was this close. Huh.
But you can go meet your mistress in luxury, now, Cyrus. That's a fun
Sir,
thing in Goa.
पागल है क्या? In this economy, I can't afford mistress. Have you not seen the rates?
Okay.
What's wrong with you? I'm with Tarun. I'm going to go because it's all relative बात है इसमें ना. The woman has to be just so much older. So if I'm 50, I need to find a 75-year-old. Am I right, sir? And then I'll get my car.
Then you get your car free. You don't need to rent it.
There you go. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love fighting? we've got you covered.
Check out our show, The Fighting Goat, where we, the voices of the internet, Arjun Chipalkatti and Somesh Kamra, bring to you crazy weekly action on your favorite combat show, The Fighting Goat.
Be it commentary, breakdown, predictions, analysis of styles and techniques.
And of course, your round of favorite fighters.
You can listen to us every Thursday on the IBM Podcast app, website, and all major podcast streaming platforms.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Chalo, let's go for AMAs.
So there's a great comment from InfoShots who says that how we've made the foreign companies make changes in the suspension of the cars rather than constructing proper roads in India. It's great.
That is so true.
Absolutely.
That is so true.
It's so sad.
But,
Also.
that's
No,
the
when you-
sector we live in. It's growing.
Sid, when you take out the Ferrari, you don't, on a day-to-day basis, you take out the Ferrari or you go on your good drives in the evening or weekend?
In Bombay, I take it out on a day-to-day. In Delhi, I take it out on weekends. In Bombay, so my travel is just from Juhu to Juhu, so it's hardly 10 minutes drive.
Just to tell everyone, the showroom in Mumbai is in Juhu. Boys and
Yeah.
machines, please go and check it out. At least go and look at it. You never know, you might. I think in this kind of situation, advertising helps a lot. You see the car, you get inspired. Ki ek din, or
That's
whatever.
good,
And you know, it goes into your head. I think it does work with a lot of people like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's take. Silvery is not wearing his trademark. So Silvery, shirt badla kyun?
Just SAR felt a little change. This is a hoodie. I know it's very
think
cool.
it's a picture of
Thank you.
Lord Shiva.
Send me- Send me more clothes, guys. I'll wear those.
You're on your
I
tantric
don't
mood.
mind.
This is sort of yeah.
Why not? Why not? Yes, correct.
Acha, he's-
Uh,
Do people
Hello?
dress up when they come to buy this stuff and all that? I mean, considering it's all high-end luxury brands. And
Not in Mumbai, in Delhi, yes.
so even their look is like, look, I'm really rich when they enter, I'm saying.
So it's the other way around. In Mumbai, people who are rich look absolutely normal, and in Delhi, it's the other way around.
You got to show it, right?
Yes.
Show sa. So what do you think? Is Silvery rich or poor? Lagta to bahut amir hai. Look
Yeah,
at him.
super rich. Super rich.
Super rich. 18 crores,
thank you,
top of the line Rolls Royce.
I know. I
Oh,
try.
it's Buddha, not Shiva. Tarun Kaushik, you're never
Yeah,
getting any girls. You're focusing only on religion. Huh. It's Buddha. Sorry, you're right. I could see.
Buddha, yeah.
Yeah. I
Sure.
could start a riot. I'm so sorry. I apologize. See, it has nothing to do with
No.
this. This is just bad eyesight.
No, but you won't start a riot because you're seeing Shiva everywhere. That's a good thing. If you're seeing Buddha everywhere, that's the problem.
Let's not go into that, bro. Please leave him alone. All he's doing
Sorry,
is selling
sorry.
cars
Okay,
and making the world a better place.
Yeah.
You are very
Yeah,
philosophy rakho ghar pe. And let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. Tarun Kaushik asks, if electric cars become a mainstream in the future, don't you think the demand supply chart will give rise to expensive electricity prices?
Yes, it would. It would. It still is not very cheap in our country. And yes, as the demand goes up, like the fuel, it's the only country that has fuel prices crossing 100 rupees mark in our country. Very few other countries would be having such prices. That is just because of the demand. Similarly, will be for electricity in our country. I'm very sure of that.
No, I have
Irrespective of what
friends.
government we are with.
They go to Dubai, they buy the fuel and they bring it back in a bag. I mean, it makes more
They
sense.
can't.
Literally.
It's illegal. It's illegal. You'll be smuggling that.
It's taken you 43 minutes to figure out that we are talking rubbish. Sid, what the hell, yaar? Yeah, go on.
Sid, recently there was a story about Manipal students trying to sneak in his girlfriend into his campus in Manipal University. So would you at some point like to also sell luxury suitcases? Because that's a lot of travel thing now.
Yeah, segue,
Now
beta.
I'll give it a thought.
I know.
Now
Yeah.
I'll give it a
Cool.
thought.
Thank
Now
you.
I never
Yeah,
thought
you
about
should.
it, but now I will give it a thought.
You've changed the market. Everybody's thinking this is
Yeah.
a great market now
Yeah.
because everybody puts their girlfriend or boyfriend inside a bag and carries them around. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the new
Yeah.
India. New India. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, why not?
Arey, we want a local insult coming here. Silvery's riches can be judged from the fact that he looks down on Marolians. Matlab people from
Marolians.
Marol.
Marol, yeah.
Sid. So he's made too many anti-Marol jokes and it's upset a lot of our listeners who are from Marol or have relatives there. So yeah. So be careful, bro. Please be more secular. We already made a couple of mistakes in the show. Let's be careful. Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Next one comes in from Shavik Bakshi, one of our regulars. He says, I just want Cyrus to move his chair at the end of the show and we finally see that Aisha has made the famous donkey on a horse Majnu Bhai painting from Welcome. That is so funny.
It's
Oh,
all
wow.
paintings of, I think it's her. I'm not sure because when she asks me to guess, I'm always careful not to answer properly because it will be wrong anyway. So this is, Siddharth can't help us with these problems, whatever happens. After 20 years of marriage also, you don't give the correct answer. So I do the Maria Goretti style of talking where you just talk fast so no one can understand what you're saying and you get away from it. Antariksh is in a good mood. He's excited for Valentine's. Sid, any sales happen because of things like Valentine's Day? I'm sure Diwali will have sales, for example. Any sales happen on these smaller days?
No, not really. We have not. We don't get customers or gifting the girlfriends cars on the Valentine's yet. We're waiting for such
Wow.
sales to start happening.
But what
Yeah,
I'm just thinking, if you're a married man and a woman gives you a car who's not your wife, but it's on Valentine's Day, but it's a phantom worth some 15 crores, how to handle that situation? How can you say no also? Wife should be
Absolutely.
understanding in such a case,
Nobody's
yeah?
saying no to a phantom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So you guys know how diamonds became the symbol of love, right? Like years ago, De Beers company that controls the diamond markets of the world, they basically put out like an ad campaign saying that this is the way to show love to your mistress, and that ad campaign took off.
To your
Okay, like
mistress.
you have to. Yeah, no, sorry, to your fiance. I don't know why I
2
said
weeks, sir.
to your
Kahan se? I
fiance.
mean, what kind of ad campaign is
I don't know. I don't know. I
targeting
don't know. I
people
said,
having affairs?
yeah. But so this is the way to show love to your fiance, and then they upped it up after a few more years. They came out with an ad campaign ke, oh, you have to give 2 months of your salary that's how costly the ring should be, and then it became 3 months salary, and now it's like 6 months salary is what they're selling. Okay, so I think that's the way to go about saying luxury cars also, right? That's like, okay, this is the way to show love. How
Bro,
else do you show love
you're
to
talking about people like you
your,
and me. People who go to his showroom, they don't have to worry about money. It's not in their mind that this is going to
yeah,
hurt them.
yeah,
15 crores or
damn
20
it, yeah, that's
crores.
true.
It's only a question whether
Yeah,
they
that's
like the
true.
car. Am I right, Sid? I mean, you're not really getting a guy who's counting ki 19 20 ho gaya, 19 20 ho gaya. It's you don't have a desperate situation where
Yeah, that's true.
has
No,
there ever been a
not
guy
really. So,
who says mere
no.
paas, yeah, 5 lakh kam hai? Does anyone say that?
We've had guys who keep negotiating, but yeah, 5 lakh
That
kam hai,
that
gaadi
they'll,
de do nahi hue. Yeah,
uh,
not like that yet.
that's fair. And the richest people in the world are negotiating. That's for sure. But it's not like they don't
That's
have the
for sure.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
yeah. Chalo.
Yeah.
Indian
All right.
mentality, you can't help it, right?
So let's do one thing. If somebody wants to buy a car from Sid on the show right now, then they should get something for it. We should figure out something for that. Chalo. Sid is under tension.
Okay.
No, that's all right.
Doing
All
business
right.
in silver, doing
I know
successful
nobody's
business.
buying a
You know
car
what?
right
Partners
now.
like Cyrus and Silvery. Oh God, yeah. Chalo.
All right.
Uh,
Shivam Upamanu asks, Contessa, how would you rate that as a classic Indian car? The Conti.
Absolutely beautiful.
1980s.
It's the
Beautiful.
Indian,
Yeah.
basically muscle car. A lot of people
Yeah.
up in North have modified them, kept them well today also. And it's a beautiful car.
Us time ke liye, it was really like
Yeah.
outstanding. If I remember
Yes.
correctly, then I came the Rover,
Absolutely.
standard Rover. These two, Contessa and Rover,
Absolutely.
they were for your eyes. They would catch your eye because you didn't have too much except a few Mercedes here and there, which some really rich people had. That's all we saw in the 90s initially.
Yes.
So does that go up? Is it one of the brands that goes up 30,
The
35 years after?
Contessa? The
Huh?
Contessa? Yes. So but today also, if you want a good used Contessa, which would be like 25, 30 years old, would be somewhere around 3.5, 4 lakh rupees at least. Which
If you
when
go to
people would have sold it off would have been 50, 60,000 rupees.
But if you go to Europe, you can get a real Contessa for 5 lakhs. I mean, like a human Contessa. Contess? Leave it. Sorry, sir. Medication nahi liya maine aaj. Huh. Next. Has anyone brought in bags or suitcases of cash?
Oh,
Hindi film style.
yeah.
No, we get people coming in, but we don't sell on cash. So no, nobody have bought it. Yes, they've offered it.
Nice.
15 crores in cash is
Online,
not.
can you Google Pay and buy a luxury car?
Yes, you can.
You can? Wow.
You can
Wow, that is
Paytm
crazy.
us or Google Pay us.
Paytm us. That's crazy.
You can
Wow.
Google Pay 10,
Yeah.
15 crores.
It depends upon your, not 10 crores. So Google Pay is attached to your, so we don't sell only 10, 15 crores. We don't sell 10, 15 crore cars. We sell from
Huh.
20 lakh upwards. So yeah, you can Google Pay 20 lakh rupees if it's attached to your bank account. If your account has the money, yes, you can.
Please ask these questions only if your account has the money. Huh? You're wasting his time.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Just asking. कहने में क्या हर्ज है? We'll just ask. We'll just talk.
I'll just
Yeah.
ask.
Go on.
All right, cool. Karan Sethi asks, this is a great question. He says, does having a celebrity owner increase the value of the car because some people only want to buy the car because it was
mentioned-
owned by a particular celebrity?
Ek
So
Priyanka
that would be
and
only
Pooja.
that would be only for people who are a big fan of that celebrity. For us, it doesn't matter. Car is sold for what the car's worth is. an ex-user would not increase the price or decrease the price of the car.
But I'm sure people like it, yaar. So, come on. Because they will tell their friends, okay, Amitabh Bachchan ki gaadi hai. Come on. I
So
mean,
Amitabh Bachchan fan would like it, right? And that's what I mentioned.
which is like a
अगर
lot
कोई
of
किसी
people in
का
the country.
yes. कोई उसका बहुत मतलब is someone is a big fan of someone, they will be okay buying even at a inflated price.
Imagine every time he drives the car, he only plays Amitabh Bachchan songs. Wherever he goes.
All right. Vivek Yadav asks, in cities like Delhi, where older than 10-year-old cars are not allowed on the road, how do you get around those laws? He's talking about the
We sell them in
cars which
Mumbai.
are
We sell them in Mumbai, Kolkata, and
21.
Hyderabad. So we sell them in
But
Mumbai, Kolkata, and Hyderabad.
do they enforce this 10-year-old car law really?
In Delhi, yes.
Has Kejriwal
Okay.
come to buy a car? The chief minister? Kabhi?
No, no.
कोई कभी राउंड मार गेड़ी
No.
करके आया वो साइड से गेड़ी करके
So
just looking at
our
the
showroom
showroom?
is placed. Our showroom is placed in Delhi NCR, Gold Coast Road, Gurgaon. Not
Okay, so
exactly
more
in
Haryana.
Delhi.
हाँ,
Yes, yes, yes.
ठीक है. All right. Hey, but
Right.
I'm just asking one question. If a politician comes and all the, and then he wants
Yes.
the proper discount and all, how do you handle that? Because the influential person and
That is a problem that we face not just with politicians, with celebrities, or in northern cultures, everyone is someone's, kiska beta hu and all
exactly.
that shit happens in north a lot of. So that's why we made a policy that's a fixed price policy for everyone. That's a management policy. You buy the car, I buy the car, or my family buys it, or anyone else buys it. It's a fixed price policy. So we just stick to that, and
So
that's the only way.
no point entering the showroom and saying जानते हो मेरा बाप कौन है. I mean that's not going to help at all.
वो अगर
Right.
जानते हैं कौन है तो पेमेंट पूरा दे देंगे वो खुद नहीं जानते तो doesn't make a difference to us.
He's come prepared. Who is willing to buy Cyrus's car for the price he bought at? Come on, chat. What the hell car did we buy? Last car we bought was Jeep. I don't remember the price. But it's well
The
looked
sign
after.
it, Cyrus, will go for
Nice car.
whatsoever. Yeah.
But as celebrities go, I don't know. This would be a really low hanging fruit. I think let me sell it to Rajpal Yadav or something, and then you take it, so that there's some chain of celebrity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silvery, what car do you
I mean,
drive?
I drive a Honda Jazz. It's
That's a girly car.
not a
Huh?
luxury.
More for the ladies. No? ठीक है,
I don't
ladies
know.
की
I
बात
really
है.
like it. I really like the car. So I'm not happy. man.
You've
It's a
got
great
big
car.
hips also, no? It's a sweet
Yeah,
thing.
correct.
It's a sweet thing.
That's true. That is true. Yes.
Sid is laughing.
Comfortable. It's comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. The hips don't lie, man. It's what it is.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah. Girish,
We're going to get letters.
Girish,
First Shiva, then Buddha. Now you're making very PC conversation, which is bad. Okay, let's take
Girish
a couple
Patil.
more,
Yeah, Girish Patil asks, what's the point of having a Ferrari or Merc when the speed limits are only 80 to 85 kmph? So do you run into problems with your Ferrari, Siddharth?
So you stay in first, basically. Yeah.
So basically, yes, that's an issue. But when you're driving it like once a month or twice a month in a country, you're okay giving a fine for that. That's all right. Aaj speed ka chalan bhar denge. And
I never
as
thought
far
of it.
as
That's a great thinking. So you basically spend so much money on the car, 200, 500,000 rupee fine. Forget it. Might as well. Makes sense. Yeah.
plus in North we have got roads where the speed limits are 120. Plus now you have nat tracks in Indore where you can just go and enjoy your car. There's no speed limit on those tracks. So a lot of places coming up where you can actually use these machines in the country.
What is the fastest
Gradually,
you've driven the Ferrari? Tell us. Come on, honestly.
we have done 309 on it.
Mumbai Pune highway.
No, on the nat tracks.
Okay.
So
Okay, that-
it's a track that has
309.
been, yes.
Wow, that's I can't even imagine that.
309 kilometers. That's like, what did we do? I think after 180 is the most we've ever done. Nowhere close. And in that for a few seconds, you think your life might end because the control seems to be going.
Yeah.
Wow. 309.
309.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's take a couple more.
Yes, absolutely. Next one comes in from Tarun Kaushik. He says, "Hey, Cyrus and dear guest, I feel every vehicle has a lot of memories attached to them. What is your first car? Do you still have it? And any old memories with that car?"
Mine was Maruti 800. First car. Can't forget. First car that I drove, first car that we had, I remember was an old Padmini, which with the top gears. And the number was 9207. I remember that. We used to remember numbers of cars, numbers of phones, everything by heart. What a generation. Siddharth Chaturvedi. What a generation. Aur ye dekho. Pucho, what's your car number, beta?
8329.
8329. Okay.
I don't know why. I just gave it out. I just gave it out in public. I don't know why I did that.
For no reason. We're tracking you now.
Just give it
Everybody's
away.
going to track you.
No, damn it.
Honda Jazz 8329.
Yeah,
Honda
I
Jazz.
don't know why I said that.
Powai,
Damn it.
Powai
No, there's no way to
residency.
beep it.
What color?
Honda Jazz is soccer mom's car. Oh,
I'm
damn
not.
it, man. Sikram.
Siddharth is not saying anything, but I'm telling you, if you're talking image, Honda Jazz
Yeah.
is generally seen as a female, more like a female car.
I can't say
Hey,
that,
man.
right?
It's fine, man.
He
That's
can't say
fine.
that because I'm just saying what the market you tend to pick up. Not saying it's right to do it. Right or wrong
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
different issue
It's all
altogether.
right.
Work
Man,
hard, work hard.
I'm
We
comfortable.
need to buy cars. Work
But
harder.
it's one of the biggest hatchbacks in the country right now, right? You can get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for big women and me. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
here we have the option, one of the best hatchbacks in the country, biggest, etc. And on the other side, we have it's a girl's car, more for ladies. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
What other
Whatever.
car do you have in the
Uh,
house? You have 2 cars, no, at least.
we have, man, gonna find it sounds so spoiled. We have 5 cars.
You have 5 cars and 3
And
people.
yeah,
You know
in 5
it
people.
doesn't
Yeah.
divide.
I know.
And you've taken
Nobody
up
told
car
us.
parking
That's the
space.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then
Yeah,
we
what are the
say
other
there's a
4?
parking space in Mumbai.
There you go, yeah, unnecessary.
Yeah.
So and he takes Uber
Yeah.
all the time. He's got 5 cars.
No, I don't. I
Not
always
Uber.
drive. I
So
always
which
drive.
are the other 4?
So we have a Honda Civic. We have a Mercedes
car.
E220.
Oh, so E220
we
is
have-
also coming up into the veteran category. Huh.
Yep.
And
Then we have an Innova and an i20. So that's Honda
so
Jazz. I-20.
any of these cars
Civic.
is better than the Honda Jazz for your look. Why?
Man,
are you
I
in the Honda
really
Jazz?
like the Jazz. So basically, when I went to buy the car, right, when I went to buy the Honda Jazz, there were 2 things that really sold me on it. Okay, one thing was that the leg space is the same as the Honda City, only the boot space is less. So I was like, dude, leg space is great. It's fantastic, super comfortable. Has a lot of back space. Exactly, that's what this guy's saying. It's a great car. Yeah. So fantastic. Okay. And one thing that I could not get over, and the salesman of the car could not get over, was that the car has 10 cup holders. He kept repeating that. I remember I went with my mom to buy it and all, and the guy was like, "Ma'am, yes, गाड़ी में 10 cup holder है, ma'am, 10 cup
But
holder."
you just
Hey,
have
ma'am,
3
आप
people
गिनिए.
in your house. And the car can only sit 5 people.
Yeah.
Said, bhaiya,
Yeah.
he's got a drinking problem. Come to the point.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got a
right,
proper drinking problem.
Okay.
So yes, that is ladies' car, drinking problem, and self-drive. Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic.
correct. Always.
Somebody is mentioning that he's a dealer.
Yeah. My God, you're a dealer. So yes.
With 5 cars,
do
you
things.
honestly, you should start a transport company. Vikram is right to say that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I should start my own Zoom car, like this.
So
Rent
what
out my
happens
own
to the other
cars.
cars? Your dad takes 1 car, your mom takes 1 car, you take 1 car, and 2 cars. Ka kya hota hai fir?
My brother and sister-in-law now.
Okay, so everyone has 1 car then attached. That
One
is not
car.
so bad.
Everyone, yeah. We used to have 6 actually, then we sold one.
You finally did the maths. Huh? Unbelievable. 6 log,
Yeah.
6 gaadi, 5
Yeah.
log. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you can give
Okay.
Akshay says, can you give the car on rent to Amit? Let me see.
That's-
He's
You
Amit is
got it.
Punjabi. Silver is Punjabi. He'll not come out. He'll not come
man.
out of this deal well. Leave it.
Nice. Yeah.
Chalo. Let's take one last one.
Okay. Gary Pereira asks, "Hi, Cyrus and guest. In UK, car owners have to have an MOT yearly. When do you reckon this will be a rule in India?"
Sir, ये technical question hai. I'll pretend I know what MOT is, but please.
I don't know what MOT is. Do you know what MOT is?
No.
MOT full form.
Gary, can you quickly tell us what MOT is while we Google it at the same time? Whichever comes
Ministry
up
of
first, we'll do it.
Transport stands for Ministry of Transport. What does that mean? What?
Like the cars check.
MOT
maybe?
stands for Ministry of Transport, the government department that introduced the test in 1960s as a means of testing vehicle safety, exhaust
Yeah.
emissions,
So it's a
and
test,
roadworthiness.
yearly test
Okay.
that the
It's a
car is
test.
good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Do we need that? We have to test the roads first more than the car.
Yeah, true.
We do have fitness tests for the cars after a certain age. Like in Delhi now, they're starting it for cars older than 10 years and everything. For the public transport, like the trucks and everything, they have it yearly or maybe after 2 years. They have to undergo the fitness test. Not for the regular cars right now.
I want to buy a truck, Siddharth. One of the cheap Leyland, whatever trucks that are out there, Ashok Leyland trucks. I just want to buy it to dabao the.
Where will you park it?
No, I just want to hit car. I want to hit all the cars and bikes that I don't like. I want to just drive it like that. Thak. No parking. Parking, just keep it for a few days and send it off. They take out all the goodness. But that is one thing also. No? The trucks are too big for our cities. They come and block the lanes. Especially in Mumbai. Delhi, at least you have some space. Mumbai, we have no space. They have to remove these trucks and get smaller trucks. Man, really. I'll write it down. One more thing I have to talk to the government about. Trucks. I feel Honda Civic has a really bad luck in India. First one was
launched exclusively in Asia in 27. Didn't do well. Stopped in 2011, 2012. But then people started buying second-hand 2007 to 11 models.
But now it's selling again, right? They relaunched it, right? Honda Civic.
No, they've stopped it again.
Oh,
Yeah.
They relaunched it.
Okay.
They've stopped it again.
All right.
Yeah. I think my family owning it was devaluing the car, so they were like, no, we can't have that. So they just discontinued it.
You bought the very last car, so it will go up in price now.
Correct.
The very last Honda Civic, it's like the Parsis. Soon they'll be extinct.
So it's a good time to sell it.
Not the Parsis. Sell the Honda Civic.
Okay, just Honda Civic.
Be careful. Remember how many mistakes you made in this show, young man. Okay, let's do a last question. Very, very last.
Okay, cool. Girish Patil asks, he has another question. He says, Mahesh Manjrekar drives really fast, 130 to 140 kmph. I don't know how he knows this. He just knows this. And he says, do you have any experience, Cyrus, since you worked with him on multiple legendary projects, including Fruit and Nut?
Actually, I have not just in Fruit and Nut, which ran for 2 days, but in 2-3 things I've worked with Mahesh Manjrekar. I have not seen him drive the car, but he self-drives. That's for sure. 100%. And my big story about him is in the middle of the shoot, he went to play cricket in the lunch break. And when I told he said, 2 ghante mein wapas aayega. And I said, but how can you guarantee that? He said, I've never made double figures. And he came back in 2 hours wearing whites. How much? 3. No fielding.
3 runs.
No fielding. Batting, 3 out. Side is fielding after that. Cool.
Nice.
Listen, Sid, this has been great chatting with you. And anybody who wants to get in touch with him, please do. There's still some good cars to be bought in 2022. Will the market now go up with the pandemic becoming less? Hopefully, does that help or make no difference?
Yes. It would go up. Hopefully, things are getting back to normal. And we expect no more lockdowns in the future. So it would go up.
Okay, and as we say, bye then Tarun, who's one of our legendary everyday listeners, he wants a tip offline, sir. If you can just help him, where to find these people who buy young men cars. I'm saying people, I'm keeping it completely open and flexible so there's no trouble. Everybody's happy. Yeah. What a life.
Cyrus is asking for a friend, Tarun, not for himself.
A friend, And now while you guys go back to work, I have to go and clean my car. I'm suddenly feeling very attached. I'll go down and just wash it for a little while. Okay. See you guys. Thanks, Sid. All the best.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
We know you love fast food,
fast fashion,
faster payment,
lightning fast internet speed.
Then why not fast information?
On Think Fast, where we discuss the latest developments in the world of technology, business, marketing, pop culture.
With a side of sarcasm and my dad jokes, not just mine.
Not mine, Varun. My jokes are funny. So join me, guys, the funnier one, Suchita Salvan, co-founder of LBB.
And me, Varun Dugirala, the co-founder of The Glitch, as we think fast only on the IVM network.
Fresh episodes out every Monday.
On the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood.
Get accustomed to womanhood.
Enjoy the experience of sisterhood.
Might get to wifehood.
Or not. Choose motherhood.
Or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
Earn a livelihood.
Change the neighborhood.
And get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha.
And me, Ayushi.
On a journey from station starting point.
To station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station. And hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.